All right, guys, we did it. $106,000 in sales in 1 month. This is in January, but it's not just been 1 month. Let me show you some more. First 100K month was October. We also had some people that paid on a wire and PayPal, so it ended up being over 100K. Then you have November. Again, some wires and PayPal. This is just Stripe. December was a little bit lower. I don't know if we actually hit 100K this month, but pretty close if you include other payment processors. And then here's January again. All right, and if you look at my YouTube channel, about 5 months ago, so this would have been in August, I made a video called How I'm going to Make 100K in the Next 60 Days. And sure enough, we hit it in October. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly what got us to $100,000 a month and what I'm going to be using to scale past $100,000 a month to ultimately get to $1 million per month. So let me open up a whiteboard here and I'm going to break it down for you guys. All right, now real quick before we get started, let me pull out the ultimate retention hack on you guys. If you can't watch a video for like 15 minutes, you have no chance of being successful. So put aside all distractions, lock in full screen mode, put TikTok aside, watch this video. I'm going to spit some game at you guys. All right, so basically there's a couple key stages of business growth, right? And this is from a book called Ready, Fire, Aim. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend reading it, right? There's three main stages. Ultimately, there's more, but like the later stages are talking about getting from like 10 million a year to 100 million. Most people are not there watching this video. If you are, cool, hit me up. I have some questions for you. But stage one, all right, this is from like zero to hitting $100,000 in a month, right? But step one here is basically you have to find product market fit. So you have to find a product that solves a problem for a specific market, right? That's essentially what product market fit means, is that your product solves the pain point for a specific market and they are in demand for your product, right? So this is the first thing that you need to do. Honestly, this can be one of the toughest things to do because ultimately the decision you make here dictates how the rest of your business goes to some extent. But I'll tell you what I do is I help insurance agents. So I help insurance agents get leads. That's pretty much my business. Don't try to copy it because I'll freaking destroy you in competition. But, you know, there's plenty of other niches out there. This is just what I do, right? So the reason that I'm able to effectively target and speak with this niche is because I used to sell insurance personally. So I have a very like broad as well as like a deep understanding of their pain points and how the market works. But the first thing you need to do is find a group of people that has a problem that you can solve. So lead generation is always a great problem that people are going to have. Another one that's kind of coming up recently that I see a lot of people talking about is like implementing AI and automation for businesses. These are all great businesses and ideas to start. This video is not going to be super in depth in terms of like what business to start, but those are kind of some different ideas. If you guys want a video like that, let me know. But basically, step one is you have to find a product that people want to buy. Okay. This is step one. Now, once you have this, you also need to discover something called OSS. Okay. This essentially means an optimal selling system. OSS. So for most people, or I'll just tell you what it is for me. For me, I run ads on Facebook to a call funnel. Okay. I run ads on Facebook to a call funnel. And then basically, on that call funnel, I have salespeople to jump on and close deals. Now, this is a great way to do things if you already have some money. If you don't have money for ads, you can also do some cold outreach, which to be totally honest with you guys, I've never had to do this, so I'm not the guy to ask questions on cold outreach. I've always just run ads because I've had the capital to do so. But I know a lot of people do get started with cold outreach, and then the cold outreach is to get them onto a call. By far, the easiest way to get your first few clients is simply jumping on the phone and closing them. And if you can't close, well, you're going to have to learn that skill. And I can point you in the right direction in terms of people to listen to that are really, really good at sales that will help you with that. But basically, you have to be able to sell your product, right? Once you start moving units and you find that you have product market fit, now we start to get into stage two, which is ultimately scaling this up. So when I first made that video, I was around $50,000 a month. Okay. So going from 50K per month to $100,000 a month is actually really simple, right? And getting to 50K a month is literally just finding the product, finding product market fit, finding your optimal selling system, which is just going to be jumping on a call and selling it at first, and then increasing the amount that you're spending and scaling up. When I was at about $50,000 a month, it was basically me, right? This is me. I had my business partner. I had a VA. And then I also had a media buyer. And then, some video editors that are like on contract here and there. Media buyer. Cool. So it was me, business partner, VA, media buyer. And at about $50,000 a month, I was still doing the fulfillment. So I would jump on client calls. I would jump on coaching calls with my clients because there's a coaching element to my business. And essentially all of my time was spent actually servicing the product, not growing the business, right? So if you're stuck from anywhere from like $10,000 to $50,000 a month, like you already are selling your product, the biggest key, the biggest unlock for me personally, was getting out of the service delivery, right? So my media buyer was already like doing the ads and setting up the ads for people. I got out of that part, but I was still jumping on calls and having consulting and coaching calls with clients to help them scale their business, right? But ultimately, what I did is I removed myself from that and we brought in a client success manager. Okay. This guy's a freaking stud. You cannot cheap out on this, or like you have to be very particular about who you hire for like a CSM role. And so basically what this guy does is now he will jump on calls with my clients. He will do the onboarding calls. He will help them out with any issues they have. And he just freaking crushes it for our business. So what this did is it freed up a bunch of my time to go out and do other things, more focusing on marketing and scaling ad spend. Now, the other thing that also was a thing is my business partner here, what he was doing is he was actually taking all of the sales calls and doing his own appointment setting, right? He was taking sales calls and doing appointment setting. So what we did is we brought on a setter. Right? Now, to be honest with you guys, I was a little bit skeptical about like, how is a setter going to solve the issue? Because at $50,000 a month, we had a lot of leads, right? Like I have an email list of like 14,000 people, right? But the problem is a lot of those leads are unqualified. And so basically we would have people jumping on the calendar with my business partner. We had people that like lived in a van by the river, like people living in a hotel. And we saw a $7,000 offer. Like people are not gonna be able to afford that, right? And so what the setter basically does is they come in and they screen the calls for you, right? So essentially we're bringing on more people to help optimize the machine. I'm getting out of service delivery so I can focus on whatever we need to do. And then we bring on a setter who basically will screen the calls and set qualified appointments for my business partner, right? So at this point, I think, let me actually see. Oh, wow. So September was actually a pretty low month. It was like 40K, right? And it should have been like 50, but we had like a chargeback that we ended up winning later. But yeah, so as we're bringing on all these people and they're kind of like developing into the roles, it's not like the business just immediately took off. But essentially what happened here is I'm like assembling my team of all-stars. Like as you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. And then the VA and the media buyer, like media buyer works like semi-part-time, almost between part-time and full-time, but it's not like, it's not like I have like 6 people that are like all in all the time. But anyway, I'm assembling my team of all-stars and we're kind of like learning to work together. So then what happens is now my business partner is taking better quality calls, but we realized that what was going to happen if he was always taking sales calls is he would never be able to ascend into a sales manager role and hire and train other people, right? So then what we did is we brought on a closer. I don't know why my pen color changed. Oh, it's because I'm writing in Loom. Duh. Here we go. Cool. So then we brought on a closer, right? And so now we have one setter setting appointments for my business partner and another closer. And once this team kind of learned to work together, this is literally what got us to our first $100,000 month. But as you can see, basically what we're doing is we're scaling up until we find the bottleneck. And most of the time, the owners, me and my business partner, are the bottleneck, or at least the role that we're doing is the bottleneck. So if I was still doing these coaching calls, I wouldn't be able to focus on scaling up the ads, scaling up the marketing, improving the product, which ultimately is what helps us increase the amount of revenue we're making. If my business partner was on every single sales call and setting appointments, he wouldn't be able to hire and train more salespeople, grow the sales team, make sure that things are working well with the sales team, right? Like those kind of things. So you're essentially bringing on people to do the roles so that you can level into the next role. And literally you just repeat that process. And that's what got us to $100,000 a month. Now, let me show you guys what we're going to do to get past $100,000 a month. All right, cool. So once you kind of have your product and your dream team, essentially there's two different things that you need to do to scale past $100,000 a month. And these are the things that we're implementing right now. Okay. So first and foremost, literally you just need to hire more people, right? It's working at $50K a month. It's working at $100K a month. Right now, if you're spending money on ads and you're getting a positive ROI, you just need to hire more salespeople and spend more on ads. Now, sounds a lot easier than it is, because when you bring on closers, the tricky thing is you got to make sure they don't suck, right? And you got to make sure they perform. So what's going to take us from $100,000 a month to like $300,000 a month is literally just increasing the amount of salespeople we have, right? So if right now I have 2 closers to do $100,000 a month, how many closers do I need to do $300,000 a month? 6. So now the game goes, cool, let's hire 4 more closers, right? Let's bring on 4 more closers. And then my business partner being out of sales, that would be 5 closers. So we have 1 closer who's performing. We need to find 5 other closers that can perform. But, what happens when all of these people need calls? Well, now you need to hire more setters. So we have 1 setter that's performing. Now we got to go hire more setters, right? I'm getting tired of drawing stick figures, so I'm just going to draw lines, right? These are the setters, okay? So then you're going to go and hire more setters, right? So you have setters and you have closers. And then we also just have to scale up marketing spend, but you got to make more ads, make sure that those are performing, right? You got to make more ads, make sure that the costs stay within the KPI so that your cost per book call is not out of whack. And so essentially what happens is you just scale this up until it stops working, or you start to see a diminishing return. But what happens is the more you spend on ads, the more you start to reach people that are maybe unqualified, or they're not like in your perfect pocket of like who your ideal customer is, right? You get people that are less and less, high intent, like they're less itching to buy, and you have to do a little bit more convincing, which means that your ad cost and your cost to acquire a customer, they start to rise, all right? But here's the element where things start to get interesting, that most people don't even realize that this is an aspect of business, because you know what Alex Hormozi says all the time: 1 avatar, 1 product, 1 channel. But that is how you get from 0 to $1 million, right? This is what I had to realize, and this is what's going to help us get past $100,000 a month. 0 to $1 million is 1 avatar, 1 product, 1 channel. Do you know what 1 million to 10 million is? 1 million to 10 million is you get a qualified group of customers, right? And then you sell them a bunch of other things. You have multiple products and multiple offers. So this is why people will have masterminds. This is why people will have up-level versions of their coaching consulting program. Is because once you have this group of customers, right? Customers, this is like a cookie. Then you just need to sell them other products. And so then part of your scale becomes duplicating the team and ensuring quality. And part of it becomes, cool, let's find other products that these people can buy and other ways to monetize these customers in an ethical way, right? Because obviously your customers are your entire business. You need to take care of them and make sure that they feel supported and are getting the results they're paying you for. But then it's just about finding, cool, what other products can I sell to these people? So maybe that's a mastermind. Maybe that's a higher level of service. Maybe it's a CRM that you have people buy, right? Maybe it's a software that they buy and you get an affiliate on. It's all these different ways that you can basically, the whole game is you want to increase the LTV of a customer. So here, this is basically our system for getting customers. Now we just need to increase the LTV, right? So increase the team, find other products to sell them, and increase the LTV. And ladies and gents, that's the whole game.